Hey, Justice Warriors. Good morning. How are you guys doing today? I am so excited to have my Christmas tree with me here. And if you look, you can see pictures of my beautiful little kids. The oldest daughter, oldest son, younger son, and where's the other one? Youngest daughter. They are so cute. Yes, I love them to pieces. But yeah, it's rough. Nothing can prepare you for childhood, for motherhood, for childhood. Freudian slip, right? So I'd like to apologize first for not doing a advance notice short clip. I'm about to go do some errands for Christmas. Got to return a couple of things, so I'm kind of in a hurry. I just wanted to get on here to talk about a couple things real quick and also just to be my reliable self. Hey, Pixie Knickers. Good morning. Nice to see you here. So we are at just past 10:30 on December 22nd. It is Thursday, I believe. Yep. My goodness. So tomorrow is the day before Christmas Eve. Saturday's Christmas Eve. Sunday's Christmas. I was flipping it around for a second. Okay. So I have had some caffeine. I think I'm on it. A few things I wanted to discuss. Where to start? Well, right as I was coming on, I saw that Upchurch had just done another Kylie video. So it said Kylie Only Logic Part 1, and it was about, I think it said 13 minutes long. So I'm really excited to watch that. I'm so glad Upchurch is looking at the Kylie Rodney case again. Are you guys so glad? Oh my goodness. What a relief. Hey, Alistair Grant and Avoid Ice too. Good morning. So, yesterday I mentioned a couple of things that were new to me, and I'm pretty sure I got these both off of News Nation. So, I'm pretty sure that they're solid. Um, and I know for a fact that this was from News Nation and a conversation or an interview with Steve Gonzalez. Um, and that is that Kaylee's dad said that the dog Murphy slept in the bed with Kaylee and or Maddie. So I found that fascinating. I had kind of assumed that, but you really can't assume anything, right? Especially when you're looking at potential suspects. You really don't want to assume. Oh, Pixie Knickers just watched the video of Ryan Upchurch and she says, so glad he's back. Oh, you caught it. Yeah, because it just came out like 12 minutes ago or something like that. If you guys check that out. Um, so yeah, if there's anything you want to say about it, I'm totally psyched that he's doing that and that Captain Kurt Reacts is back on it. And I think we'll get, traction. I mean, obviously Harsh has never gone away, even though he's threatened to and said that he was many a times. And then there's those of us in the Kylie Rodney clique, shall we call it, that would never, ever abandon Kylie. I'm sure some of my followers thought that I might have because I was first looking at the Trinity Bacchus case and then a few other cases. And then, of course, this Moscow 4 is really kind of taken over. I mean, it is a crime of the century, as far as I'm concerned. Glad to see you this morning, DDK. So the things that I wanted to talk about was one, the dog slept with Kaylee and Maddie routinely. So as I have gathered, and I know that it's not in a lot of places, but I'm about 100% sure that that dog was put into Kaylee's old room and that there was nothing in that room. I'm not even sure if there was a bed in that room because she had moved out. It was really no longer her room. She was gone. She was just visiting to show Maddie her new rig and then to go out to the bar and spend the night, right? So that brings me to the other point, which is another one that I had just caught yesterday. And again, I bet it was on News Nation, but I can't say for sure. And I had never heard a time frame of this most recent breakup with Kaylee and Jack D. And I was very, very curious. Having been in an on and off again relationship right around that same age, from late teens to early 20s, I understand what that means. And yeah, you don't think you're broken up even when you are broken up. You still are like, yeah, well, we'll get married, but we got together so young. We're just giving it a rest for the moment for whatever reason, like a long distance, right? Let me read your comments real quick here. Allegedly, good morning, all of you amazing people in chat. Did you hit like? You sure? Go check quick, then come back. Thanks, allegedly. Yes, if you don't mind, very helpful for the algorithm. Speaking of algorithm, I need to share with you guys. Let me just go with that thought. So yesterday I was talking to the troll from the day before, and I thought I blocked the troll. But then I was telling my husband about it this morning, and I remembered that I didn't block the troll. I was considering it, but I just deleted the troll's comment and said, you're getting one warning. If you do it again, you'll be blocked. But that's just so funny because yesterday when I was discussing it with you guys, I totally thought I blocked them. So it is bad for your algorithm to block people, and it's also bad for freedom of speech. I mean, that's what I'm all about, is freedom of speech. So please, if you have a different opinion, don't be afraid to share it. Just don't be abusive, right? So I found that individual to be just like off the wall. I'd never seen them in any chat, and I was just like, what? But I'm glad that I realized and that I didn't block them, that I did give them a warning, because I would rather give somebody a warning. But again, it just takes so much time. Let me read your comments here. Merry Christmas or your special holiday peeps. Deborah Allen says that was Mark Molina. Has anyone tried to find what Adam Maddie spoke to? Mark Molina saying, or allegedly is saying hi to everybody. Four Frogs Fat Asses, good morning. Alistair Grant, DDK, and Pixie Knickers, and Mark Molina. And all right, so let me, like I said, I wanted this to be a short one. I will do a long one this afternoon, I promise. Maybe I'll even make it super long, just since this one I'm going to try to make super short, because I got to get to the store and return a couple of things that were not the right things to purchase, right? So we got the dogs. This was the other one I was getting to. The 2-week breakup period before this hideous nightmare event occurred. So allegedly, I had heard this just yesterday or maybe the night before. Again, I'm going to guess it was News Nation, since I was not questioning it, because I pretty much, as you guys know, I question everything, even News Nation, but it made sense. So I'm thinking that sounds about right. 2 weeks before the event, there was the breakup. And it doesn't really sound like it was just a breakup. It sounds like it was like the old heave ho, the dumping. Somebody got dumped. And I really don't even know if I've ever experienced that. But of course, I've had friends that have. And um, not to brag or anything, but I think I've been the heartless one doing the dumping. But not heartless. You got to take care of business sometimes. Like when I finally dumped that jackass that was a lot like Jack, it sounds like, that I dated from the time I was 16 until 22. Like, finally got rid of him. But he'd been blowing me off anyway. It's just that he thought he could come crawling back. And I was like, no, thank you. I think I grew up. I think I'm over it. I don't think we're ever in love. I was like, we were in love with the idea of being in love, and we were kind of trying it on, but we were horrible to each other. We were not nice to each other. We had an open relationship. That's all I'm going to say. um, DDK, I have a theory. Maybe Maddie was the target, possibly, if Kaylee had moved out and was not supposed to be there. Right, except for that if it was my prime suspect or person of interest, that person had a clear view of what was going on in that house. So he would have known. Excuse me. Um, and Kevin Neese, Four Frogs Fat Asses says, I watch Kevin Neese's videos, KN, and I'm so excited for Kylie. I know. I am so excited for that case to be busted open. It's way past time, right? I was going to say it's prime time, but it's way overdue. Way, way, way overdue. So, Yes, the dumping 2 weeks prior could be the precipitating event that made this person lose their bearings and just go freaking nuts and have the bottom fall out. Just a theory. Um, so let's see. The Mob Crew. Are you guys familiar with that channel? MOB, and it's funny because it's Monsters Under the Bed, but MOB Crew. That guy is great. I've been a big fan of Mob Crew for a long time, but it's one that I often forget to mention. There's so many, it's hard to keep track, right? Mob Crew got an interview on News Nation, and I think it was Mob Crew. No, no, no. It was Pascal Show, Ickmael, and Grizzly True Crime that all got a little spotlight on Inside Edition just yesterday or the day before. I saw that on Grizzly. So, congratulations to all them. And how cool is that? Not just for them individually. I mean, it's phenomenal for each of them individually, but I think it's given more attention and more weight and more understanding to the true crime community, because I think the true crime community has been a little misunderstood for a long time. Those of us that have been into true crime for a long time, it's kind of like you'd keep it secret until you found out that someone else was into it. And I remember last summer I was at a wedding, and so I was trying really hard to not talk about any of it. And I started talking about it with somebody, I broke down after a couple hours. And then we had all these people out on the balcony talking about the true crime, and we were all into it. And they all wanted to know what channels I watched. And man, I need to get in touch with those people and tell them about my channel. So that was like a distant relative's wedding. And it was just hilarious once we had our little true crime huddle. My point is that I don't think there's such stigma. Like, people used to think that you were weird and maybe into horror movies or something, and it wasn't like that at all. Not for me anyway. Um, for me, it was about understanding and understanding my own life trauma and working out my issues by watching other traumatic experiences. So really, it was about learning about myself, but also learning how to be safe in the world, learning what to look out for. I mean, I think that's why we're here. We're here for justice, and we're here for safety. We're here for peace. I mean, peace, man, right? So I'm missing all these great comments. I don't want to back them up because that gets so complicated. Allegedly says, I gave you a shout out. I was a bit tipsy. Start at 1 hour, 48 minutes on Allegedly with Brittany. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. And I love her shows, her panels. They're so long. It's so hard to keep up with all these long panels, but they're great. If you have time and can just get into the groove and just have it like in the background while you're doing all the things you need to do, I love it. I really do. I mean, it is kind of anytime I talk to somebody in my life about this, they think I'm nuts. LOL. They don't understand why we get into these cases. That's why I love places like this. Exactly. But you know what I've noticed, like Mark and a couple others here, allegedly, is that it used to be really dominated by women, the true crime aficionados, and there's way more men that are into it now. I mean, look at Harsh, look at Upchurch, look at Captain Kurt. Um, I mean, there's true crime rocket science, there's armchair detective. And yeah, you do have to thicken your skin, and some people will criticize you, but I think it's getting to the point that people understand that it's actually something that's positive. It's not something that's negative. And I think that that was the misunderstanding for a long, long time. And when you believe in something, you quit caring, right? You just thicken your skin and say, whatever, to each their own. You do you, I do me. All right. Sometimes you can see better through another set of eyes. Exactly, Jen Beck. I came up with this little thing a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago, where I said to myself and my friends, and then I said it to you guys, I feel like I'm working out my own interpersonal issues in these cases. At the same time, I'm completely escaping from my own problems, getting lost in somebody else's, right? I mean, simultaneously, it's counterintuitive, but both are true for me. And life can be like that, right? It can be contradictory and counterintuitive. Um, but yeah, it's really important for me. I have mentioned to you guys, I have my own trauma, traumatic experiences that I don't want to get into. I don't know if it's productive. I just don't want the distraction. For those that missed it, somebody made an attempt on my life when I was young, really young, 11. So I'll just leave it right there. Um, I did say when I talked about it the one time that I was convinced that it was an accident, and it took me 10 years to realize that it was not an accident. So I've had a lifetime of therapy. You know, I went to graduate school to help heal that. I mean, I realized that quickly once I got there. Um, and I've worked out those issues, and you're never done. You're never done. Like every single trauma that you experience or secondarily experience just by witnessing, like the Idaho 4, it stirs shit up. It kicks up the dust. So those of you that have been through traumatic experiences, which if you're an adult, it's probably about all of us, right? Um, you know, no matter how much you've worked on it and you think it's resolved, just be prepared. It's never it's never resolved. You know, anniversaries can bring it up. Small traumas can bring it up, like a squirrel getting hit by a car. Not that that's small, but you know what I mean. And then major traumas like something like this, massacre, can really push your buttons. And it's important to be aware of that and just to know yourself. So, there, I'm off my little soapbox. Watch News Nation 3 days ago where they talk about the killer on death row that thinks that the killer was already in the house. You know, Dilly, I did get to see that. And thanks for putting that up here. I'm going to pin it. Um, yeah, I think that that's a extremely likely possibility, right? Absolutely. Mm. Pixie Knickers, so sweet, says, I'm so sorry that that happened to you at 11. Yeah, I was in sixth grade. I was 11. I had to think for a minute because I don't focus on it. I really don't. I mean, I never thought I'd get to a point where I didn't think about it every day, but I've been way past that point for a long time. But I'd like to share it with people just so that I'm not like being all mysterious, like, ooh, I had a trauma and I can't tell you what it was. Hey, Captain Kurt reacts, what's good? Can I steal that from you? Can I start saying what's good, or is that not allowed? Because I wouldn't want to take your signature thing, but I love it. I just think it's super cool. What's good, people? All right. Captain Kirch is in the house, heavenly clouds, and late at night to shop. Did you see part 1 yet? No. I was talking about it though because I had just saw that it was up right as I was getting my live up, and my instinct was to jump over and watch it, but I had to get this done so I can get on with my day, and then I'll get to watch it very, very soon. Is it awesome? Is it awesome? Oh, you're so sweet. Yes, you can. All right. I'm going to do it. So, people, what's good? I probably didn't do it as good as him. Anyway, let's see. I got to criticize this effing chief. He's a freaking bobblehead. Sorry, not sorry. The guy's all smiley with his like Santa beard, clean cut Santa. Oh my goodness. Like, why not just put on the Santa cap and do the ho ho ho? He's all defending, like, oh, yeah, well, this guy's only 4 years into his career, maybe 2 years with the department, 26 years old. Don't criticize him because he's young. It's like, no, you don't put a cop in charge of a case like that. You put a supervisor in charge of a case like that, a sergeant, a captain, a chief. Like, I can't help but think that they're setting this 26-year-old kid up so that they can just kick him under the bus when the time comes to say, yeah, well, we screwed up the investigation, but it was just because this unexperienced guy was doing it. And nothing against the guy. Like, maybe he's super smart. Maybe he's really good at bootlicking, right? I mean, we got to be honest. Maybe he's somebody's nephew or son or whatever. No, it ain't right. It is not right. And then for the police chief to try to defend himself, and this is what really got me. He said, "We as a department have 94 years experience between us." And I'm no like literature, like language arts expert, but that one was one I learned when I was young. Between is only to be used when you're talking about two. You do not say, we split this between four people. You say, we split this among four people. Between is only two. Between implies two. So when he said, we have 94 years experience between us, and he's bobbling his head and he's smiling, I'm just thinking, this guy's a freaking joke. Oh, and another one, right? I mentioned this yesterday. He said, yesterday or the day before, well, we've widened our scope now from the 24 hours before, 24 hours after the incident. Now we've expanded it to 48 hours before and 48 hours after, as if that's progress. Like, that scares me, that's evidence that they got nothing, nada, butt kiss, right? Empty handed. But the other flip side of that is that he can just do a news conference anytime he wants and just keep expanding it and trying to make himself sound so smart with his bobblehead and his smile and his Santa beard. Like, yeah, we just expanded it to like a week before and a week after. Well, you know what? You do need to do that, but that's not progress. That's how you start. You get your freaking timeline. You look at what these people were doing. How about 2 weeks before when Jack got his fucking ass dumped? Sorry, not sorry. I'm so pissed off. We're 3 days before Christmas. I was really hoping for these families that they'd have a little bit of peace by then. Just maybe a named suspect, maybe. I mean, they're acting like they have no idea. And hopefully that's just an act. Hopefully they're just really good at the poker face, right? But I think with all this criticism, they'd be bragging like, "Oh, we got this. We got this white Elantra. In fact, we got 22,000 white Elantras." Like, that's not impressing me. I know living Lake Time can't stand me, and the feeling is mutual, but I got love for you still. Aw, that's so sweet. And, living Lake Time, he likes messing with people. He loves getting into little tiffs, and I wouldn't be surprised if he comes after me. So, I thought that was just, weird. And yeah, I when there's tiffs between creators, I try to steer clear. Sometimes I can't. Sometimes I get snagged up in it. But we all have our differences. It's just like real life. So, I don't like to side with somebody. However, sometimes I have to. I have to. Like, I mean, when people were attacking Upchurch, I was siding with Upchurch. And, like, sure, you don't have to like him, you don't have to agree, but, the man is solid. He's absolutely solid. And Captain Kurt reacts absolutely solid. And as much as I love Lake Time, living Lake Time is awesome, but he's also a bit of a goofball. I mean, that's his thing. Casey, he goes for the goofball thing. And I love his stuff, but I don't understand the picking fights. I mean, we're all allowed to do things independent of each other. I'm going to highlight this one. Squirrely Burger says, um, I agree with you that it's very weird for them to say something like that. It is different because they are hunting people there. Who knows? Weird. Right. There's a lot of people in that area that hunt, and that K-bar knife is very common. But, I just saw News Nation this morning that the police did not go around to the places that sell knives like that, which there's dozens of, and say, "Have you sold any lately? Could you do a quick bank search on your computer, see if you've sold any, see if they used credit cards, see if we can track them down, see if we can look at them on surveillance footage." Like, that's what you do in a normal investigation. This whole thing with the white Elantra, it's like it may or may not be anything. Hold on. Bucket o Java. It may or may not be anything, right? Um, but I did find the video footage. Oh my goodness, I could not find it to save my life last night. I could not find it. I had seen it the night before and I wanted to use it for my thumbnail yesterday. And then thank goodness Paula Plunder used the same footage in her video that she just came out with overnight. And so I could do a screenshot from that. And I learned how to do a montage. I'm so proud of myself. And I put a picture of the white Elantra that's parked in front of Jack's house. One of the photos, one of the screenshots I took, you can see Kaylee's house right there. And you can see the car, and it's taken from standing up on the roof. And then in the other photo of it, it's just like a little bit of the roof and the car. There's 3 people, but their faces are blurred out, so you can't see them. But it's a white Elantra. It looks like a match to what they're looking for, and it's parked at Jack D's house. So I don't know. I mean, I haven't trusted that that white Elantra has any meaning, but perhaps it does. Perhaps it does. I've just been of the mindset that whoever did this, maybe I would think that they would flee through the woods because it's dark and they can be mysterious that way. But maybe they went to a getaway car somewhere else, that white Elantra. Maybe, right? Because it sounds like it was parked maybe around the corner, maybe a half an hour before it happened. So maybe they are onto something with that once they narrow it down from the other 19,998 or 99, because I think the only one they've ruled out is the one that was in the wreck in Eugene. I mean, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just really thinking, like I said a few days ago, in the Watts mass murder, that was 4 people. That was 3 people and a fetus. That counted as 4. They had Chris Watts confess within 72 hours. Why is it that these people can't get a confession from somebody? Because whoever is carrying this secret, it's going to crush them. It's crushing them right now as we speak. People don't realize when they commit crimes how much they're shooting themselves in the foot, right? I mean, it messes with your head. They're probably haunted, or maybe not. Maybe they're not haunted. Maybe they're just like, on cloud 9 by feeling superhuman and a superpower that they can take the lives of 4 people in 20 minutes. I mean, it's hideous. It's absolutely hideous. Um, as a person who lives near Idaho, I can't get too deep into this case. It scares me. I've been studying the Lori Vallow case all week. Yeah, I understand that completely. Absolutely. Like, yeah, sometimes it's just too close to home. And that's what gets me is this mass murderer is out there on the streets. On the streets. They may be in Idaho, maybe in Mexico. Who knows? So a couple other things I wanted to put out there. Actually, no, I think I got it all. So I'll read a couple more of your comments and then I'll wrap up and get over there to the shopping mall before it gets too busy, right? It's only 11 o'clock, so I should be safe. Fingers crossed. I agree. You can't use words like everyone or all because the situations are so complex. There are probably a small amount of people making big problems. I don't know what that's in reference to, and I'm not going to back it up just because it gets really crazy when you try to scroll back and then you forget to get caught up to the moment. I found a channel that is very in-depth. She is Lori's ex-sister-in-law. Oh my goodness. If you want to name that channel for anybody who's interested. That too is a case that I have not paid a lot of attention to. And again, it's a little too close to home, right? I mean, those people, that Chad Daybell, Lori Vallow, oh my goodness, talk about repugnant. That white car probably isn't white any longer. Tilly Owens. Okay, so Sky Z or whoever it was that said the thing about that channel with her sister-in-law. If you want to put the channel, that'd be great. That's hilarious. The white car probably isn't white any longer. And I've heard some people say that maybe it was a silver car to start with, or, It's hard to say. Lighting can really play tricks on your eyes, especially in the dark. I know a lot of people that do their own content creating. We all know that lighting is the most difficult factor. I mean, people warned me of that again and again way before I ever started my own channel. And I just thought, well, I'm more worried about content than lighting. Like lighting's nothing. And no, the lighting is absolutely the most difficult part. And for those of you guys that are critical of my lighting, I'm working on it. I am totally working on it. I know some people say they don't care, that they're not even watching the screen. They're just like listening. But if you notice, I don't know if it's doing it right now, but when I rewatch my videos, it'll look way too dark and then it'll look fine. And then it'll look way too dark. So as the sun is moving, even though I usually have like blackout curtains on all the windows, some light comes through and it just messes things up. So for my videos from start to finish, it's not even consistent and I'm not adjusting anything in my videos. So just so you know that. Anyway, who cares about the lighting, right? I've been looking at missing persons photos and I have to say that they are very troubling. A lot of them are very pixelated in Photoshop and it's mind bending. Yeah, it is so hard. And when people take, these video footages and they superimpose, and yeah, it looks like a perfect match, whether it's the car or the person's face or the height, you can probably do that with just about anything and superimpose and make it look like a perfect match. I don't know because I don't superimpose. That's not a skill that I have yet. Hopefully I'll get there. And when I see other people do it, I'm in full agreement with them. Like, yeah, they're doing it and they have a point. But that doesn't mean that it's accurate, right? So just to keep that in mind, we want accuracy. We do not want to point fingers at people that are innocent at all. We want the killer to be apprehended. We want a warrant for his or her or their arrest, right? That would be the best Christmas present in the world. So I'm going to sign off, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. You know how much I love you. And Merry Christmas to everybody and anyone who doesn't celebrate Christmas. Happy Festivus for the rest of us, right? You know my little spiel. Drink your water, drink your coffee, eat your protein, high percentage of veggies in your diet and fruit too. Get your exercise, your rest. Oh, you guys want to know a hot tip for the day? A lot of people I'm sure know this and a lot of people don't. When you are sitting down, if you can put your feet up, whether it's on a coffee table, an ottoman, or the couch that you're sitting on, or the chair that you're sitting on, if you can put your feet up, that's really good for your health, right? You guys know that. I'm sure a lot of you do and a lot of you don't. So anytime you can put your feet up, even if it's just a couple inches, it makes a difference. But if you can get them elevated above your heart, of course, that's ideal. It's just good for your relaxation. It's good for your circulation. It's good for your whole system. So on that hot tip, I'm going to sign off and I'll see you guys, let's say about 3 or 4. Does that sound good? Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you then. All right. Thanks again.